And welcome to the Aaron Katzman Show. I'm your host, Aaron Katzman. We speak about your life, your money, and your investments. And as always, we're coming to you from the spiritual and soon to be financial capital of the world, Jerusalem, Israel. If you like this content, please hit the like button below. And if you've not yet done so, please subscribe to both our YouTube channel and to the podcast. So I'd like to speak to you about something called lifestyle creep. What is lifestyle creep? Well, the fact of the matter is I had written an article about this probably 3 or 4 years ago. And recently I was speaking to an existing client. We were talking and they mentioned how they remembered the article that I wrote on lifestyle creep. And I was like, wow, I didn't remember writing the article, but if you remember reading it, that's good. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, I'd like to speak about it because it's something actually that's really important, especially as we go through life and we get raises. Right? We start making a little bit more money. I'm going to read partly from an article that appeared a couple months ago in the money section of U.S. News and World Reports, and it was written by Emily Sherman and edited by Barry Siegel. I will interject my commentary, as I often do, in the middle, and I'm also going to give you my own insights as well. So the article starts, it's human nature to always want more than we have. It's called hedonic. It's called the hedonic treadmill. And it's the idea that humans always revert back to a baseline level of happiness and are never truly satisfied. We always want more. Yaneli Espinal, Director of Educational Outreach for Next Gen Personal Finance, says. Now, I'm going to interject. I think that idea of always wanting more actually, I don't know about the hedonic treadmill. I don't know anything about that. I know that it has sources back in biblical times, right? The Proverbs, the book of Proverbs talks about this. So that'll be my first comment. I don't know anything about hedonic treadmills. I think I've maybe run on them before. I don't know. I don't even know what that is. But yeah, we'll just go back to Proverbs. Anyway, you may think that a raise will solve all of your money issues. You'll finally be able to afford nice vacations, bulk up an emergency savings account, or afford a down payment on a new home. But if you're not careful, you can end up increasing your spending so much that you sacrifice your long-term financial health. Okay? Lifestyle creep, or slowly getting yourself used to luxuries and increasing your spending to the detriment of your savings capabilities, can be a dangerous phenomenon. You work hard for your money, so you want to spend it on things that make you happy. It's natural, but while it's natural to want a better lifestyle as to make more money, it's important not to overdo it. And earning more money should correspond with more financial stability, and that's not always the case, thanks to lifestyle creep. Lifestyle creep happens when an increase in income leads to an increase in spending on living expenses and non-essential expenses. In other words, things that once were luxuries when a consumer had lower income become perceived necessities as they make more. Some experts call it lifestyle inflation. Kyle Enright, president of Archive Lending, says, this might mean moving into a larger home, upgrading your car, or splurging on designer clothes. But if all the additional money you're earning goes to luxury purchases instead of improving your financial security, it almost always cancels out the benefit of making more money. What happens is they are unable to improve their financial conditions because they spend everything they make. Robert Johnson, PhD and professor of finance at Creighton University, says. Okay, first of all, there's a comment here that I want to also take on, right? You work hard for money, so you want to spend it on things that make you happy. Rule number 1, buying things does not make you happy, okay? The more things you have, the more happy you are. False. Okay, there's been all kinds of studies about that, right? Possessions don't make one happier. In fact, I think there are a lot of things that people who are, who are much wealthier end up being more depressed than those who are barely getting by. But that's something different. What's important here in terms of the whole concept of lifestyle creep is when you start making more money, you have to stay disciplined. Okay. What does that mean? You have to stick to a budget. You can certainly allocate more money to things that make you happy. No, perceives things that you want to improve your standard of living. There's nothing wrong with that. But, right, you want to be smart about things, and you want to increase the amount of money that you're putting into savings, medium-term savings, long-term savings, what have you, right? If you were making ends meet with X, and now you get X plus 10, let's say, because you got a raise or you got a bonus or whatever it is, right? Well, things were fine, more or less. You made it, you were okay when you were making X. You can add a little bit of that 10 to your new lifestyle, but to take all 10 and dump it into, fun things, you're in the same position. You've done nothing to your financial situation. So it's really, really important that you stay disciplined. Now, the article asks, is lifestyle creep a bad thing? Well, yeah, I think you know what I'm going to say, but let's say what U.S. News and World Report says. To some degree, lifestyle creep is expected. Everyone wants nicer things, and if we have the money to afford them, there's nothing wrong with treating ourselves. It's natural to purchase more and spend more on essentials as income grows. But they weren't essentials before. Now it's extraordinary things, but okay. Enright says, it's also natural to want to improve your standard of living. Not everyone wants to have the same furniture they did in college or maintain the same diet they did in the early 20s. While you aren't able to meet your financial goals in line with increased income, like keeping 6 months of emergency savings on hand or funding a child's education, lifestyle creeps becomes an issue, he adds. Okay. Espinal adds, the problem arises when you only spend more and you don't save more at the same time. In other words, you lack balance and you tilt way too far toward inflating your current lifestyle goals while ignoring your future financial goals. Okay. Then the article says how to avoid lifestyle creep. Well, I'm going to tell you. Okay. Enough of the article. The way to avoid it is to have a budget. Okay. And do the same things that we always preach, that I always preach, right? I know I'm a broken record about getting out of debt. Number one, okay? Let's say you were, paying down debt, and now you got a raise. Pay down more debt. Get rid of your debt. Okay, nobody gets wealthy by having lots of consumer debt, except for Visa and MasterCard. Number one. Number two, make sure that you have your fully funded emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of expenses, just put away. You're not going to become a millionaire on that money, but it's there that if you need a root canal, if your fridge breaks, right? If your muffler goes, you don't have to start scrambling. You just have the money right there, and it's not considered an emergency, right? It's not, I should say, it's not, there's no drama associated with it. Okay, you just know, okay, my muffler went. Okay, so now I'm going to my emergency fund, I take out a couple $100, I'm buying a new muffler. There's no drama involved with it. It's just part of life, because you're expecting things to happen. Well, if I have a car, I know that I'm going to end up having expenses on the car. If I have children, I know I'm going to have to pay for field trips or extracurricular activities or, right? It's part of my budget, so that when those things come up, again, there's no drama. It's not crazy. Oh my God, what am I going to do? My kid has a field trip. Well, because you budgeted for it. You have kids and those things happen. It's not a surprise, right? You own a home. You know that, well, let's see, I bought it. I didn't put in new air conditioning, and the air conditioning's been around there for like 12 years and it's making noises. Good chance I'm going to have to replace my air conditioning. Okay, so budget for that. And then it's not a surprise when it happens. That's number one. So we're getting ourselves out of debt. We're avoiding lifestyle creep. We're getting ourselves out of debt with the newfound money that we've got, number one. Number two, emergency fund. Number three, we're going to ramp up our savings disproportionately. So let's say we were putting, we're putting $100 every month into savings, and now we're making an extra $1,000 a month. Well, I'm not going to keep putting $100 a month into savings. I'm going to now put in $400 a month into savings, or $300 more a month into savings, right? More disproportional, right? I want to get more money into savings. And part of that, and let me go back, right? Part of the budget, when you're going to budget, right? We're supposed to budget for emergencies, but you can also budget for extra things, right? Maybe now you can go out to a restaurant once a week, or you can take a trip somewhere, or you can play another round of golf. I don't know, go to a Seahawks game, whatever it is, right? But budget those things, but you can allow yourself, you're making more money, you can certainly allow yourself certain pleasures in life, but just don't go all in on pleasures, right? Maybe that's the hedonistic treadmill, right? I don't know. Infatuated with that. I'm certainly Googling that at the end of this. You can spend money. We're not against spending money, but save even more, right? Get gung-ho, just go all in on saving. If you do those things, right? Get yourself out of debt, emergency fund, budget, save. You will go, that's it, right? You've avoided lifestyle creep, and now you're enjoying yourself more because you've got more things, right? That's what they're telling us, at least. You're gonna enjoy yourself more, you're saving more, you're gonna have you're gonna have a more secure financial future as well. And you've done it all within the framework of a budget, right? So you just keep on rolling, keep on making more money. Good for you, by the way, that you're actually making that more money, right? The first part of lifestyle creep is awesome, right? You're getting more money coming in. You've got higher income. That's fantastic. Now take advantage of that to improve your overall financial situation. Or don't get sucked into just consumerism. We're just going to spend everything we make. Well, that's dumb, right? You can spend some of it, but if you save even more of it, get out of debt, you're going to be in a completely different financial situation in the future, okay? Do me a favor. Avoid lifestyle creep. Definitely make more money. We're all for that, okay? But don't spend it all. You've been tuning into the Aaron Katzman Show, where we speak to you about your life, your money, and your investments. If you like this, please hit the like button below. And if you've not yet done so, please hit the subscribe button and subscribe to both the YouTube channel and to our podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll speak to you soon.